Hello everyone, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day so far. Uh, it's near the end of the month, so I decided to do another video log trying to wrap up the things that I've been working on throughout the month. Not quite sure of the stuff that I mentioned on the video in the beginning of the month, but here are some random stuff that I've been up to. So the Mister, I've been playing around with the Mister for quite a while. I'm gonna unplug it so I can show it to you. It's an FPGA and it emulates some stuff. Cycle Exact was donated by VC, and one of the first things that I wanted to do when I received it was try to use fatter SD card on it. The one that came with it was 8 gigabytes, I think. So I immediately noticed that that wouldn't be enough to install all the different stuff that Mr. supports, and I wanted to have everything there instead of being, copying and deleting and that kind of stuff. So I tested using a 32 gigabyte SD card that I had lying around, and it was giving me some issues, and I ended up becoming a pro in how to flash cards for the Mister, knowing all the little quirks and things, but the card still didn't work. It's one of what you call a fake SD card that has like in the registry a fake size than it actually has, and when you try to flash Mister with the stuff, or actually when it first installs, when Mr. Fusion of Mr. First installs itself, it tries to use all that space and notices that something is wrong. So it ends up not recognizing the card anymore the next time that you boot it. So that's the issue. There are some software to try to recognize these kind of cards, but they're mostly for Linux, and I don't have Linux, and I don't feel like installing Linux right now. I don't even have a computer to install Linux properly on. I guess I could use my desktop, but it would take quite a few gigs from the main disk drive, and I just don't feel like it. So yeah, so I ordered a replacement card from China. It took like 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 months to arrive. I think it was 2 months. It took a long while because it comes from China and it's cheap like hell. And of course, I got ripped off. I ordered 128 or 256 gigabytes SD card, and it cost me like €9. So that was a red flag right there. And random brand, not even a specific brand. So yeah, when I was talking with other people on the Discord, it was pretty clear cut that I did everything wrong that I should do when buying a new SD card. I should buy it locally from a known brand. That's what I did afterwards. I got a SanDisk, slightly lower because I don't want to put like €50 into a thing that can just stop working and lose a lot of money over that. So I bought how much gigabytes is it? Let me check real quick. 128 instead of the 256 one. So which was cool. It worked fine. The process of flashing it worked fine, and it arrived much quicker because it was from Amazon. Gave some money to Bezos. Oh well. And yeah, so I flashed stuff. I've been testing a few more things. I tested Hoffman's Amiga game, Metal Gear Slug port, uh, Metal Gear Solid. Oh my god, don't even know the names of the games. Um, and I tested a few other things. I tested some Apple II stuff as well. I still have to test some Commodore 64 that I also wanted to check out. I think I tested some Spectrum stuff, but only like 2 or 3 demos. Didn't really do a complete archive of things. I was also testing different controllers around. Then meanwhile, I bought this auction of stuff from Artica, the company that I used to work for, that went bankrupt in December, and they had like an auction to sell the remainder of their assets. And one of them was going really cheap and had a lot of stuff in it that I knew was really worth like 5 times the value that they were bidding for. So I bought it. I bought it on a whim and had to deal with the whole transfer of the stuff and throwing some stuff away and putting everything into a corner. Managed to catalog. I spent quite a few nights just cataloging everything. Opening boxes, seeing what's in it, taking photos if I want to sell it, putting it in a stored place if I want to store it for myself. Most of this stuff is for sale, but I want to sell it locally. Maybe if I ever travel to another demo party ever again, which I assume will be sometime at the end of the year or next year, I might sell to some demo scener people as well. I can take it with me by carriage, but I don't want to be shipping it around by default because it's a lot of work. So it's mostly for Portuguese audience, and it's a lot of tech stuff. I have a lot of RC batteries. I have a lot of video surveillance cameras, like 5, 6 different axes. Have a lot of network material, like a whole bag full of random routers and network controllers and stuff like that, and a lot of things, a lot of cables, a lot of random crap like fluid for the smoke machine. I already did a video about this, so I'm gonna skip this. Anyways, I spent a lot of days preparing that list, taking photos of everything. List is pretty much done. Still a few things that I forgot to take a photo of. But now I've started actually looking into groups on Facebook that I can spam stuff on. I sent a few mails to a few friends in case they want something. None of them replied to me, which is bad. You should at least say you're not interested in anything, so I know that I'm not supposed to wait on you. But well, whatever. Portuguese people, and that's the mentality. Not replying. Anyways, what else? I spent a lot of time doing that. Also spent some nights preparing some stuff for Enough Records. We have a release coming up every week, so I always have to prepare some stuff. Always spend at least 1 or 2 evenings of my week preparing some stuff and recording the radio show as well. Have a few interesting releases coming up and some that already came out. So if you don't follow Enough Records, I highly recommend that you go to enoughrecords.scene.org and check it out. I also did some update to the shader summary project that I've been working on. Totet Matt has been doing a lot of updates to it, and I finally found some time to also do some new contributions. We are almost done with having all the information from all the known parties that had shader live coding events done on the database. A lot of stuff still, like small information that is missing and stuff that can be tuned, and the overall website look can still get a huge update. But the main stuff, like all the data, is pretty much listed. And you can see it and browse it, and that's one of the most important things. So the main issue right now is finding a proper name for the thing. We're just calling it live coding events, which is not quite true because it gets confused with algorave sort of stuff. They also call it live coding, even though it's mostly just audio, not really. Well, they do some visuals as well, but if you go, let's put it like this. If you search for live coding on Google, you'll find a lot of reference to algorave stuff. You will not find any reference whatsoever to any bonzomatic demoscene thing. So what that tells me is that the whole scene around the live coding community doesn't give a fuck about demoscene and bonzomatic and stuff like that. They don't really see it as part of their scene. They don't really consider it real live coding, even though it is. It's just, there's just a disconnect because there are two different scenes pretty much, even though there are some ties that connect them. I don't know, it feels like a different culture. It feels like the official live coding is like for people who actually studied music and arts and that kind of stuff, and they want to appear intellectual when they're doing that work. That's my first impression from seeing. Apologize if it's wrong. That's the first impression that I get. They're not very inclusive. You need to include yourself into the thing. Could be wrong, of course, but that's the impression that I got. So yeah, so I've been updating this website. I need to figure out a name. Live coding events doesn't quite seem to fit it. Demoscene live coding events feels a bit too big. Live demo coding feels like you're coding a demo live, which is also not true. So a lot of weird stuff. And then comes the boilerplate thing that I don't really feel that it's reasonable to pay 20 euros a year for someone to have a record that you are using this domain in particular that I picked and that no one else wants. So I just feel it's stupid. It's too expensive. It feels like 3 years. I could understand that it's like paying some sort of upkeep to the database maintenance, but 20 euros is stupid. And some domains are like 100 euros, 25 euros, and it's just ridiculous. And I don't really feel like playing that game, which is pretty much why I tend to stick with GitHub. One of the alternatives that we might have is actually putting like a subdomain on DemoZoo. I have to talk with Gazman and Menace about that. I pinged Gazman, but he hasn't replied to me yet. Let's see if that makes sense or not. If it makes sense for them. For us, I think it would make some sense, but I don't know. It's up to them. And if they're up for it, cool. If they're not, it's fine. We'll figure something out. So that's the pretty much the status of the project as it is right now. Needs more update visually, a lot of missing information, small stuff like, you know, links to shader toys and stuff like that, but overall, like, it's listing all of the events that existed throughout the years, pretty much. Missing a couple, like missing Outline 2019, missing a couple Soul Skogans, and probably some stuff that we just don't remember right now, but overall most of the stuff is there, which is really cool to see. Other than that, I've been testing the live stream a bit more, playing some N++. There was this map pack that came out on N++, so I thought, oh, this is a good opportunity for me to test the stream. I'm still getting terrorized by the packet loss gods, or if they have decided to move on to greener pastures and leave my packet loss at 0, as it should be. So I've been playing a few rounds of N++ on live streams for a couple of hours. Seemed to be okay, streaming 1080, 60 frames per second. So I'm happy with that. Usual streams that I would do would be reduced to 720p by 30 frames per second, so much less bandwidth being used. I'm planning to do a live stream this coming Friday about some Spectrum stuff. More information about that sometime soon, as I confirm like the official text of the stuff to say, but it's going to be interesting, so stay tuned for that if you're interested in Spectrum. The 4th of June it will be. And yeah, and I need to pick up, if this live streams are working okay, I'm going to try to pick up either Mystery Demoscene Theater 9000 or organize another session of Shader Royale. Have to take a look at demoparty.net if there's any party coming up that might clash or not. If there's like a big opening of 1 or 2 weeks, I can slot Shader Royale in there and, you know, make it entertaining for a weekend. So yeah, that's all I had to say on this video log. Hope you guys are having a great day, and see you next video. Bye bye everyone, take care.